All right, so this is live. Well, let's see if this is going to work. I don't know if I did this correctly. I certainly hope. I don't see anybody in here yet, but we'll hang for a little bit and see who shows up. This is outside the front of my house, by the way, for anybody who watches this later. And behind me, I don't think they're there right now. Nope, one of them is. One of my fur kids is hiding. I can move the chair. Oh, there's two of them. Yep, all three. So this one, right? Yeah, let's see if I can do this. First one, ooh, right there, Gerby. That one is Chunk, and that one is Gita. Gerby, the Heinz 57. She's all kinds of different stuff. She's Gerby. There she is. She's a Lab Retriever, Golden Retriever, Shetland Sheepdog, Siberian Husky mix. Gita over here, she's a Rottweiler German Shepherd mix with a little bit of Collie, a little bit of Doberman in there. And then Chunk, he is a Mastiff Rottweiler mix. So that's order from oldest to smallest. Gerby's over 3.5. Gita, wherever she just went, she's about 2.5. And then Chunk, he just turned 1 back in March. And Mr. Chunk over there, he's actually trained as a therapy dog. If you want to find out more about Chunk, you can always check him out on at Chunk the Therapy Dog on Facebook, if you still do the Facebook. I started out my video the other day disparaging YouTube a little bit. I was really tame. I'm trying to not get off the ground just ranting and raving, because I've got plenty of things I could rant and rave about. But I'll not do that. I don't think anybody's in here yet, and I wonder if the link I gave them doesn't let them in. So we shall see. Share. Yeah, do that. Copy. And hey, we got somebody. I see a watcher. Throw me a comment if you're there, whoever is there. I'm willing to bet that's Kikia, whoever just showed up. Am I wrong? Or is that my lovely wife who came in? You're gonna tell me. It might. Participants. It says me. That's the participant it shows. Well, cold brew coffee. I'm a little addicted. Just a little. Let's see. I'm going to try something real quick. Don't leave me. I've gone away from the feed for a moment, but I'm still here. And we'll get talking. I need the messenger. I'll send myself a message. Let's see, paste. All right. Oh, it's Captain Cutler. Bearspiracy, right on. Kill a few minutes. So that link that I sent in the Unbearables app did work then. That's great. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate that. By the way, it's not even remotely cold here. It did rain last night, but I'm not wearing a hat because it's cold. My hair is all over the place. You know, it's just a mess. But the hat's helping. But I thought I'd be less disturbing by just doing that for this morning and getting things to calm down follically. I guess Bearspiracy just busted out, so I'm talking to myself, but that's cool. I'm going to share this again in the Bear app, the Unbearables app, but I need to get my phone. So I'm going to go grab that, and then we'll talk about some drums. And, you know, even if I don't get anybody in here now, I'll still put the video up on Facebook, and it'll be on the YouTubes later on, and we can still interact that way. But be right back. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Technology. Oh, I love technology. But not as much as you see. But still love technology. Always and forever. Oh, I don't want that right now. I'll tell you what. It, turned me off. Copy. All right, Unbearables. I'm going to drop this again. You all talking about Jordan's video about Lindsay Shepherd? Excuse me, that was supposed to say Jordan Peterson, period. Nothing but respect for that man. I just listened to that last night before I fell asleep. If you'd like to talk more, comma, I'm live streaming right now, period. Hey, somebody's in the chat. Well, somebody was here and then they left again. I guess I was boring. I'm probably not doing anything when you came in. I apologize. But it'll be good once it's done. I swear. I don't want to be too loud. People are probably still sleeping. Hello, whoever just popped in. Good to see you. Feel free to leave a comment. I am definitely looking to generate some more conversation with the Bears this way. Blue Sky Bear. Good to see you. Dom, hey, that's awesome. It's great to have you guys here. So I see Blue Sky, Dom, and there's somebody else, but I'm not sure who. I know Bearspiracy was here for a minute. By the way, I was going to show this off a little bit. This is my old Kambala djembe drum. It's an African piece. It was a single piece of wood, hand carved off of the Ivory Coast in that area. 8-Bit Bear, what's up, dude? Good to see all you guys. That's fantastic, and hopefully girls coming at some point too. I'm happy for everybody. Yeah, super cool to see you guys up in here and supporting. Just trying to get stuff going a little bit. Rock on, Blue Sky. See, that's what I'm talking about. Got to have them all. So yeah, my djembe drum, and I probably had this since like 2003, I think, when I bought it. But it serves me well. I can take this to like unplugged gigs and stuff like that. Maybe if I'm doing a church service or something like that, because I play for a lot of churches in the air. What's happening, Mama Bear? Thanks for coming. Man, I wasn't expecting like more than maybe 1 or 2 people, and I've got like 4 who showed up here. Thanks for the likes. This is great. This will be up on YouTube later, the full finished thing. I can't believe I actually got it working. I stayed up till like 3 a.m. last night, Central Time, working on this and trying to get it to cooperate. It's not supposed to be that complicated, but there's the me factor. So, but at any rate, Central Time. What was confusing about Central Time? I was curious. Or what got the WTF on that? Where are you, Dom? Because I should know that. Oh, yes. Yeah, let me show you. That's my favorite. People call me Dad. That's my beautiful lady who got me that. Yeah, thanks, Blue Sky. My beautiful lady's pretty beautiful. She's pretty awesome. So are my favorite people, my kiddos. Let's see. I'm just trying to keep track. For the win, Minnesota. Gotcha. Nice. Let's see. Yeah, 4 kids, human, and then dogs. Hey, I'll show you my other kids. They were in the video earlier, but they might pop up. Hey, puppies. Come on. You can see this one over here is Gerby. She's trying to stick her head up, but she's not quite. Come on, kids. Come on, show your face. No. There's Chunk. He's our Mastiff Rottweiler, this guy over here. He's also a trained therapy dog. Yes, Mama Bear, you do need a djembe. They're awesome. Yeah, tell you what. Gerby. 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 There she is. She's sort of sticking her head out. Gerby, the one on the end. Oh, and there's Gita. So Gita is Gita is a Rottweiler German Shepherd Collie Pinscher mix, and then Gerby is a Lab Retriever, Golden Retriever, Shetland Sheepdog, Siberian Husky mix. So you got those 4 in there. Yeah, that's according to the DNA test that we had done on the dog. So you got all sorts of bits of stuff in there. I don't know how Gerby got figured out to be all those things, but very interesting animals. Oh, they're coming by the screen here. Oh no, I'm revealing my address. This isn't good. But you don't know what street, and we'll keep it that way. That's my beautiful lady in there. You can say hi, beautiful lady.
Hello, beautiful lady.
That's my wife, Dawn. Dawn Bear. She's a big fan of bears. That's why she married me. So, let's see here. Dogs. Dogs are awesome. Yeah, I'm just like hitting all the selling points to get you guys come to these chats. So speaking of cajon, Dom, I think you said cajon. So this is a Latin percussion snare cajon. And it's just like a miniature one I can set up. It's got the snare tone in there. There's wires inside. I don't even know if you can see that on the camera. But yeah, there are snare wires on the inside that give me that snappy snare tone. Yeah, boy. Count rhythm cracking me up. This is a Latin percussion city cajon. I will answer that in just a moment, Blue Sky. Absolutely. I picked this up in Columbia, South Carolina, back in 2016. I had to go down there to Fort Jackson for chaplain assistant training. I had this cheap little, I can't remember what brand it was, cheap little drum kit that I'd gotten off a friend of mine. One of my former students, in fact, had this little thing lying around he had for his kids. And I just reheaded it, tuned it up, made it sound nice. And I traded it for a cajon. And I've abused the heck out of that thing. It's been a great tool. So yeah, all my hand drums, they help a lot, but then I use the full drum kit and all sorts of other stuff. Okay, so let me answer. Got to try and keep up with this chat stuff. It's kind of important. Who's responsible for turning me on to music? Well, my mother. She is a classically trained pianist. Went to Braglee University years ago when I was a kid and got her. I think she had her bachelor's before that, but I remember her working on her master's, and it was still like a piano performance. Yes, Mama Bear, you should get him a mini cajon. They're amazingly useful tools. And all the drum rudiments, the fundamentals of drumming, you can work on with just your hands, just like open hand technique. Kind of like they say martial arts, you can do stuff with weapons, but they first train you like the open hand stuff. It's similar, just get working on all those different things just with your hands. You can do it anywhere, but having a mini hand drum or something like that is super, super awesome. So yeah, my mom was the one who really was responsible for getting me into music. She had me start on piano lessons when I was very young, probably about 5 or 6. And I've had a number of different mentors that pushed me further in music. When I was in grade school, I first studied clarinet, did that for about 3.5 years. During that time, I also learned trumpet. Yes, count rhythm, stick control is one of the best of all time. I give all my students that book. I tell them to get that book because it's super fundamental. And it was written back in 1935 by George Lawrence Stone. No, I'm not selling it as an affiliate link on here or anything, but boy, wouldn't that make sense. Yeah, it's super awesome. It's a great, great tool. Back to the story of my musical growth here. Let me get that in there. Clarinet, did that for 3.5 years. Then I found a trumpet in the basement of my parents' house, like when they bought a new place. I think it was about a year or so after we moved into this place. The same area in general, but a new school, So yeah, I'm playing around with trumpet, learning to do that. 7th grade, in between 6th and 7th grade, the band director comes to me and says, would you be able to learn baritone saxophone? We have none for the jazz band starting up this fall. And I said, okay. He said, take one home from the band that we have an extra of, and then learn to play it. I learned the music for jazz band. I was like, this is going to be rough, but let's try it. It was baritone, yeah. So took that sucker home, got that going, and played Very sax in the jazz band all that year, and that was a blast. 8th grade, been learning drums over the summer there. I think since January of '96, it must have been, and was digging into that a whole bunch. So then 8th grade, I come in, and my Barry sax is in the shop, so I'm playing clarinet for jazz band. Band director say, yeah, give it a go. There's no music, right? So I've got to improvise parts. I've got to figure out like what key we're in, and I'm still at an instinctive level on this. I'm not like super good in music theory wise, though I should be, but I didn't practice with a dime on that stuff. So yeah, I'm improvising. I'm doing melodies and stuff for solos and other things like that. And the band director was like, this is what y'all need to learn how to do. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. So big Kikia, what's happening? Excuse me. Good to see you here. Glad we're getting some more folks up in here. Cut to the chase with all this. So yeah, I'm doing the drums. Or excuse me, backtrack. I'm doing the clarinet. And then both of the drummers from jazz band decided to quit. They decided to leave. They wanted to do other stuff. They weren't as interested. And I'd been learning drums, and I demonstrated that to my band director. And hey, Kill Switch Bear. Cool. I don't know that I've met you too much yet. Maybe I've seen you once or twice, but good to see you here. Thanks for coming. Band director says, you're the drummer of jazz band now. Let's get you up there. So that was my thing at that point. So put the period on this story. The last 2 months of school, right? Band director comes up to me. Pinder, dude, thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate that. It's good to see you folks in here. Can't believe this. That's great. All right, so the last 2 months of school, and band director says, look, we've got one tuba in concert band, and we go to contest in a month. Would you learn tuba and the music for contest? And I say, okay. So I was encouraged by my band director, Mike Matthews, over at Germantown Hills Middle School. And that guy just gave me stuff to do because it was needed. And that really grew my desire in music. But the drums was where I think I settled the most. That's been my biggest love. My mom played in a local contemporary Christian rock band when I was a kid. And I used to go to practices, and I was totally enamored by watching the drums, watching the drummer. David Weibel was my first drum teacher. I begged to sit under that guy and just, watch what he's doing, but then take lessons. He took me to my first drum clinic to see a famous guy named Rick Latham. Later on, I got to go with another friend, mentor of mine, to go see Peter Erskine. He used to be the drummer for Weather Report back in the day, one of the big jazz fusion groups back in the 70s. The famous bass player, Jaco Pastorius, played for them, and he's like considered the father of modern electric bass. Amidst massive drug and alcohol problems, which ended up leading to his death. Very unfortunate at a young age. But yeah, Peter Erskine's still been one of the greatest musicians in drums for such a long time. Kika, I hear what you're saying about that. A lot of people can play by ear, and sometimes they're not as interested, or they don't have as much encouragement to get into the by rote side of it. I kick myself in the butt constantly, wishing that I'd done more of that when I was younger, because it's so much more difficult now. But yes, Tom, thank you. But yeah, encourage your child to learn more in books. Some of the John Thompson books are real easy to break into and get some of the fundamentals of reading and things like that. There's a book by C.L. Hannon. It is called The Virtuoso Pianist, and it has some basic exercises in there. Find fun ways to do those exercises. Make it a contest. Make it interesting. That's a blast. Count Rhythm. You saw Erskine with 1 O'Clock Jump Band. Yes, he's insanely good. Insanely good. Killswitch Bear, I bet you probably know somebody that's got a guitar, or if you have one, that's also good. But take your time, just work at it, and there's so much stuff on YouTube that can be helpful. There's so many videos and DVDs. I built a DVD library of drummers that really, really impressed me. So find as many of those things. Maybe hang with people that can just share things with you. And hopefully when money's not as tight, find some ways to increase that, like we're all trying to do. And yeah, definitely get some private instruction when you can, because you will not be upset that you did. So let's see here. Yeah, that's a good idea, Mama Bear. Start with the book, and when the lessons are more forthcoming, definitely dig into them, because they're definitely worth it. Would you put these books into a list, please, so we can add to a Bear Book Club? I will. Absolutely. I'll make a list of books for drums, piano, guitar, and bass that I'm familiar with, and definitely see if I can get that on. In fact, I'm going to make a note right now. Otherwise, I'm going to forget to do that. Hang on. Siri, remind me to make a list of method books for all instruments that I teach.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Awesome. That's important. Because otherwise I'm not gonna remember to do it. I'm super ADD and I have that problem. Probably because I spend too much time in front of this, and I know I do. Let's see. Blue Skyberry. I pay him $1 when he learns a new song and plays it for me. That's great. Yes, money is a wonderful incentive. You're teaching him now, young, to get that. Guitar, piano, sax, singing, all of it. What did you say something before that and I missed it? You miss making music? Well, you should do it, man. Dumb, do it, brother. And you got to find some time for that, even if it's 5 minutes a day. Sit down and just what I've been doing lately, and maybe in future streams I'll share some of it with you. I've actually just started sitting down with GarageBand, and I'm making like ringtones for my phone. I'm just making short little ringtones, and they're like ideas for bigger songs later. Little things like that really encourage you, keep you moving. It's exciting. It gets your neurons flowing. I want to talk real quick about my teaching philosophy, which is the title of this video. It's Dom's wrench horn. You miss that wrench, brother. I understand. I know. I understand. It's rough, but I gotta say it was flipping hilarious watching the wrenching. That was awesome. And it's nothing against you. It's nothing against Drew Bear or anybody else that lost their wrench. But man, that was funny. Life will be okay without the wrench. You know, that's why you need the music to take place of that. You know, change from hashtag wrench life to hashtag music life. You'll feel much better. Nope, not true. Well, I tried. Maybe I didn't understand what it was like with the wrench because I've never had one, so I don't have the same perspective. Let's see here. Let's make sure I didn't miss anybody. Trying to do my best to keep up with this chat stuff. It's a lot slower. I actually intentionally slowed it to where I don't see a new message until like every 10 seconds. So that's part of why you don't see me answering as quick. You can have one in my live stream. Oh, thank you, Dom. You know, it'd be really cool if you could make me a little drum. If I could have a drum icon, that would be super sick. I'd love that. But I don't even know if that's a thing or if that's possible. But if it were, that would be cool. Okay, so teaching philosophy, right? So several years ago, I took a mandate. Hey, shush. No comments from the Peanut Dog Gallery. Years ago, I took an idea from reading Luke 2:52. There was a sermon at my uncle's church down in Texas that the pastor was doing on Luke 2:52. Everybody has a branch on Dom's stream. I didn't say anything. Mama Bear, that icon. I can't believe they have a zipped lips icon. That's so funny. Or emoji. I'm using the wrong term. I'm going to finish with this story. I'm not going to get distracted. But continue to chat. I'll just keep up with it as I go. So, I'm massively distractible as you're learning quickly. Smash the like button, folks. Guys, you crack me up. That's awesome. Oh, man. This is so great. I love this. This is wonderful. It's no wonder Owen had to do this stuff, man. It's a blast hanging out with bears. You guys are awesome. All right. So, Luke 2:52. This pastor did a sermon on it. And Luke 2:52, it says, and Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. And I understand not everybody may be, you know, a Christian and everything. This is just perspective that I'm sharing. I don't necessarily have to explain all that to you. I'm going to tell you from my own life experience, and you either like it or you don't. But for whatever it's worth to you, that really struck me. So these 4 areas, right, in wisdom, stature, favor with God, man, right? So all of my students, I teach from that perspective. Wow, the chat just went blank. Oh, okay. Okay, don't know what that was. Maybe my computer's just being funny. Okay, great. So that just freaked me out. I was like, is my stream shutting down? Mama Bear, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. Dom, you flipping out. Kika, you too. All you guys. Steve. YouTube's been doing that. Thanks, YouTube. YouTube. The evil YouTube overlords. You know, if you're watching, now you're probably going to shut my whole thing down, aren't you? That's okay. I'm going to get this out before it goes down. So, Luke 2:52, he grew in wisdom, stature, favor with God and man, right? This was when he was a kid. He was missing from his parents for like 3 days. And then he was in the temple talking with the rabbis there and he was asking them questions that demonstrated his understanding of the text. And they were amazed. So mom, Mary, was all like, don't you know that your father and I were worried about you? Don't you know that I needed to be about my father's business, right? And so she didn't know what to do with that, but she kept it in her heart. And he went home, submitted to his folks, and it says he grew in those 4 ways. So I teach my students to grow in all of those ways musically. You have to do that, not only as a musician, but in life. You need to grow in wisdom, what to play, how to play, understanding, you know, the music theory side of things. You have to be growing physically. Your body has to be capable of producing the sounds that your mind comes up with. So that's super, super important. Continuing to develop that. You need to be able to grow, I would say spiritually or metaphysically. You have to understand a larger purpose behind why you're doing what you're doing. Because if you don't have a purpose behind that, if you don't have a greater intent guiding what you're doing, you'll probably fall off the horse a lot sooner. It's like, oh, I'm just doing this because mom and dad said to. Spend some time thinking about it. This is like Dr. Peterson level stuff. Like, really put some thought into something before you take the endeavor up. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Let's say mom and dad put you in it. It wasn't your original thought to do. You can still take that experience and say, I'm going to make the best of it. What purpose can I make it serve, right? And there's plenty out there, plenty of purpose to be had. But for me, my purpose is to see how I can communicate better with people and help other people communicate better with other people, if any of that flow made sense. When you make music, there have been numerous different studies that have shown that areas of the brain tend to work together better. More activity between the corpus callosum, the little part back here that causes the two hemispheres to interact, right? And when you have an increase of cognitive function, that's going to help you in numerous areas of life, right? If your brain works better, you're going to look at life in a different way than if you didn't do music, right? So I encourage people to dig into what the purpose of it is for them. I want to see people communicate better. I want to see me be a better communicator. Maybe a briefer communicator, right? If I could say things without long-windedness, it would be good. Sometimes there's a call. Sometimes it's good to try to cut to the chase. Anyway, finally, in favor with man is the last part of that, right? And I would see that as the interpersonal or social aspect, the relational aspect. You need to develop a strong relationship, communication, right, which is my whole thing here, with your bandmates, whoever you're playing music with, and with your audience. You need to be attentive to both. So all my students are getting this concept from the get-go. Everything they're doing needs to funnel into one of those, one if not all of those 4 areas. You know, and I usually say, try to see an application in all 4 areas for the simplest little stick control exercise you do. Or, yeah, no, I won't be eating my children, Jesse Lopez. That's gonna not happen. I would probably have a different interpretation than that on that particular passage. That just caught my eyes. That's hilarious. In Soviet Russia, children eat you. Yes, that's. I wouldn't be surprised if it got that bad, which it might very well. Music creates better brain function, proven. That reminds me, Dom, you asked about the Neuro 67 earlier. I wanted to touch a little on that. There is a link there I do have in my description. Like I was going to put this out in the bear chat earlier, and I didn't do that yet. Yeah, I have those links to my website, you know, for gaining new students and things like that. But just to, you know, introduce what I do business-wise, and I also have the what is it? The Neuro 67 link there, an affiliate marketing link. So no pressure on anybody to do that. I just put it up there. If there's somebody that's useful to, that's what I want it to be there for. I would like to get to a point one day, like I say, where I can pay all my bills doing stuff like this, because this is what I absolutely love. My wife and I have talked about this for a while, that if I found a way to earn my entire living by talking to people, that would probably be the best thing for me ever. And I'm most of the way there by teaching, because largely what I'm doing is talking through what the kids need to work on. The lesson times are really for them to demonstrate a little bit of what they're doing, for me to analyze it, critique it real quick, tell them, praise where they're doing good, and then tell them methods of improvement, but to help them not only just know what to do, but to get excited about doing it, right? It's no good if I say, well, you must now do this exercise and play it 50 times this way. That is all. No, they're going to drop off fast. You have to engage them. You have to connect with their motivational center. And you have to get to know more about them to do that. So I have a blast getting to know my students, getting to know their temperaments, and finding out what makes them tick, finding out what helps them grow better, right? It's so much fun. And I've had kids as young as 4 studying with me. This is quickly turning into a bear chat. Expect Nick. Sorry, it's cracking me up. I've had kids as young as 4 to students. I actually have one student who's, I hate to call him the wrong age here, but I believe he's in his late 50s, early 60s. Wonderful guy studying piano with me. And I've had plenty in between. You know, it's a blast. It's so much fun to see them make leaps in growth, you know, or even just little steps in growth where they can do stuff that they couldn't do before. Their mind is now thinking in a larger perspective that allows them to navigate the problems they're confronting with in life better. They have more options. So how can that not be fun? You know, it's like I've really been inspired by watching guys like Big Bear, like Peterson Bear. I think I found out about all these guys because of Crowder. I think I mentioned that the other day. I got clued into Crowder's show. Goodness, now it's been almost a couple of years. Poor me being stuck on Crowder for that one. Big Bear. Oh, yeah, he's pretty awesome. Crowder. What is FTW? So I missed that. You said it earlier, but I missed what's FTW. Because I know WTF. For the win. For the win. All right, you did say that. All right, thank you. I should know these things, right? I just found out what BTW was like a couple years ago. I didn't even know. I'm 35. I'm not that old. You'd think I should know, but I'm not up on. Like my texts, I usually don't use. Yeah, I'm going like this. I usually don't use a ton of acronyms. I'm getting better at it. But I would like fully type out words. I punctuate my texts. I do the voice to text button a lot on my thing and talk the text. And then I'll have these texts that are like that long, and it really annoys the crap out of people. But I want to be fully communicative. So there's a balance in there somewhere. I don't think I've fully hit it yet. At any rate, that's my teaching philosophy. That's the whole concept behind how I approach that. And if you got more questions about that, shoot. I'd love to hear it. Once again, for those who might not have seen. So yeah, these are my hand drum arsenal pieces here. My djembe drum. It's got a nice deep tone. Get the bass tone out of it, but then you got the finger tap tone at the rim. Oh, so I never even finished answering what the Neuro 67 was. Man, I'm loving that. Dom, I will message you after this for sure, man. Damn hippie. Yeah, will do. Will do. Absolutely get Dom my email for sure. It's just, you guys can feel free to email me. It's bigdrumbear@gmail.com. That's what I'm going for this whole deal. So Neuro 67, it's a nootropic supplement. It's basically a collection of different natural extracts that have been put together. A neuroscientist, biochemist by the name of Dr. Germán Garcia Fresco put that together. And his whole goal was to create a product that helped give a competitive edge with your cognitive function, improves memory and improves focus. It's designed to improve your ability to concentrate on specific tasks. But he starts the whole presentation of it, if you go onto their website, in a pretty cool way. He basically starts out giving you like 25 different things that you could do today to help improve those things in your behavior first, right? And so the Neuro 67 is like an added bonus. It just makes that process more easy, you know, helps get your chemical balances lined up so that your brain is less of your enemy in that process. Pretty cool product. I learned about it a while ago. There's a some of you have probably seen the ads for this cat named Ty Lopez on YouTube at times like this. Like here in my garage with my Lamborghinis, you know, and they're pretty cool. I'm living up on the Hollywood Hills, but what's more important than material things? Knowledge. He always says something like that. Knowledge. You guys have probably all seen something like that at one point or another. But kind of cheesy at times. But at the same time, he's got some useful knowledge. Knowledge, you know it, man. Yeah, he does lease a lot of things. And from his perspective, that actually makes more sense than just owning them outright. And there's a lot of people who decide to do that, and they accrue different credits and things like that, especially if they only want to do things for a portion of time. But it's interesting. His whole deal for a while was like, I want to encourage people to read books. Like I read a book a day. I had a TED talk about that. That was really interesting to me. So yeah, there's a lot of negative stuff about that guy, and maybe some of that's worthwhile. There's also a lot of positive stuff, and I appreciated what it did for me was to inspire me. Say, I do need to get off my backside and learn more, read more, get this thing working. And so he had that Dr. German Garcia Fresco, they're buddies, and had him on his podcast at one point, and we were talking about the Neuro 67 product. That was months before I knew much about like having an affiliate account with, say, some wholesaler site and being able to distribute that through a link or anything like that. So who pissed you off, Dom? I'm looking. If you spend more than $6K on a car a year, chat's blinking on me again, guys. YouTube evil overlords, as Crowder loves to call them. They're making it tough for me to communicate with you. But at any rate, so I'm going to finish up because I've been at it for like 40 something minutes. I don't think people joined in until about at least 5 or 6. Look up more. You're right, Steve. I should do that. My camera is like way up the top here. So yeah, is that helpful? Yeah, I'm so vain. I keep looking at my own face. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Now I can't really see the chat, but that's okay. It makes my eyes go up a little bit more. Change to the size of my window. So, hey, it puts the chat right in front of me. Look at that. So, at any rate, and it's still blinking. It's been a blast talking to you guys. It's been a blast getting to know some more of you folks. And I can't thank you enough for coming and checking this out. Yeah, feel free to share the stream, share with your friends. I'm going to try to do this every day, and I'm going to try to keep it to about a half an hour. That's my goal. I may shoot for another time, because if I go at another time of day, like later in the evening sometime, I can actually sit at the drum kit downstairs and you get to check out the office space. Not the squirrels and they were married, but I switched from the Boston to the swing light. Not that office space, but yeah, it should be a blast. I'd love to talk about more things with you guys. Love to get more ideas on what I could do in the future. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to read more of what you guys said after this, because I can't even read any of it now. That's a downer. I had 9 people, probably more like 10 or 12, show up in this first stream. That's amazing. Bears are awesome. Period. Well, I tell you what, I got more cool stuff to share in future. Got some cool stuff coming up. I've got a gig next Tuesday. I'm gonna see if I can live stream that, and that'll be awesome. I might do that on my other YouTube channel, which is Steady in Time. That's more of my percussion drumming teaching thing. So I'll see if I can stream that with my phone when I'm at the gig, but it'll be over nearby here, about an hour or so away from where I live. And it's a big band jazz gig with a group I play with called the Aristocrats, and they're a fun bunch of folks. So if I can stream that, I definitely do it. I think you guys would enjoy that. If not, then I'll get it up where you can watch the concert. Not a highest quality video, but you get to see some stuff after the fact if I can't get it live. So any good yeah, there. As soon as I start to read the chat, as soon as it's solid for a little bit, I start reading it and then blinking out and out like this. And it's just mostly solid black. So gotta love that. Aristocrats, I don't think that telling aristocrats joke. Well, yeah, I'm not as quick. Thank you, Blue Sky Bear. I try to do I have a couple of impressions. Maybe we'll get into some of those later on. My Shapiro isn't as good. I think it's mildly inappropriate for my personal live stream, but not anywhere near Crowder's, because when Crowder goes Shapiro, it's as if he's in the room. It's so flippin' good. I love that. when Big Bear was doing that, I was listening to a Big Bear video clip of him doing his Shapiro bit with the ads, right? Bear's gold. You're gonna have to have the gold to get the guns, and sometimes you're gonna have to shoot an intruder, execution style, when they come into your home. After you do that, you're gonna need a good night's sleep. So, bowling band sheets. You know, you get the sheets, you get the guns, you get the gold. Just buy the guns to shoot the intruder, execution style that comes into your home. And his wife's a doctor. Thank you. I almost the most important part of the whole thing, right? When I sleep on my Bowman Branch sheets on my Helix mattress, I know that nothing can possibly go wrong because I have a gun, and especially because my wife's a doctor. So that's I need that on a shirt. Promo code Ben. Yeah. I was listening to that driving down to visit some of my family nearby here, and I had to pull off to the side of the road. I was laughing so hard, I thought I was going to have an accident. So don't listen. I don't watch the videos like if I'm driving. I don't watch it. I'll listen to stuff pop up in my YouTube feed, but don't listen to that funny stuff when you're driving. It's just a bad idea. You know what I mean? Not good. But first, man, yeah, there's a whole load of stuff here. I'll have to think about an Aristocrats joke, Dom. I should know better. But yeah, we'll have a bunch of fun stuff to talk about, and I'll message you after this, Dom, and get you my email. But so good to spend some time with you guys. I'll let you get on with your day. I'm gonna go spend some time reading the good book with my wife because it's good for us. I think it's positive. All right, great to see y'all. Peace, peace. Dogs say bye. No, I do want to end the stream.